This episode was brought to you thanks to the help of Otaku Noir. Otaku Noir is a Black-owned mystery box subscription service that fully curates each box with materials from creators of color. If you want to get your first box now, please go to their website at otakunoir.com and use our code UBGP to get 10% off your first order. All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Unapologetically Black Gaming Podcast, the only podcast that is for Black gamers, made by Black gamers. I am your host, the infamous hood rat with the heart of gold himself, Cortez Washington, and as always, I'm joined by a special guest. You can see this person killing it on YouTube. Also, just running it up on any other social media platforms that you're just had the blessing to be on the same platform as her. Please show some love to AyChristene.
Hello.
Oh, how you doing today? Or tonight?
I'm good.
Yes.
Had family in town. My sister's birthday was yesterday, so she came into town. My mom was here, had cousins over, so it was a eventful weekend.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Family time's always good. It's always good.
It is.
Yeah.
We had brunch this morning and it was beautiful and the food was amazing. So it was good.
Nice. Did the brunch have any like covers? Have anybody doing like covers, acoustic covers of music, or was it just like or was it like jazz covers of like popular songs that was going on?
Nothing like that. They actually played music over the speakers and it was just a vibe. It was like a Black-owned brunch place. So they had amazing food and like the way that the building was set up was very artistic inside.
Mm-hmm.
Even the seating, like they have a style with how they laid out the building. And they're just playing like hip hop and R&B. And it was just like a vibe.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds dope as hell. Yeah. So this is I got the hardest question to start off our conversation.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's dive in then.
Yeah. So what is your first gaming memory? So like what's the first time you played a game that you can remember that you were like, oh, this is going to be like a lifelong hobby, not necessarily a career, but like a lifelong hobby?
So there's two separate questions there. So my first gaming memory is, my uncle, he's the one who got me into gaming because he had Duck Hunt from the original like Nintendo system.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that. So playing Duck Hunt and then after that having, Super NES and playing Super Mario World and, playing that with my family. That was the thing. Like my uncle got us into gaming or got me into gaming, but my dad also played games. So we would play games a lot with my dad when we were younger. When the aspect of it being a hobby or like something fun to do was a lot during my childhood because we were definitely in the age of going to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video and renting a game, especially a new game that came out. And then all of us playing this game for like the week, because I think you could rent for like 5 days and then putting that back. So it was kind of like it was a constant thing that we were doing as kids. We had like I said, I played my uncle's Nintendo and then Super Nintendo. And then we had the Nintendo 64. And then my brother had a PS1. And so, we were playing a lot of those games. Oh, and we had an Xbox as well. All at different times. I think which is funny enough, like now that I'm thinking about it, we had like one console at a time, but we went through each of those consoles. So it was pretty constant within my home as far as gaming when I was younger.
That's so cool. My parents, I used to love doing that too, because my parents used to take me to the video store with them and we would rent video games for the week, and it'd be like that unique weekly experience to where you're like going to tell everybody at school or tell everybody or anybody you come across that loves video games just as much as you. And it's interesting too to hear that like you had that like one console in the household, period, because it does make you enjoy it fully when you only have that one rather than trying
Mm-hmm.
to like split it between two or three or what have you. And so that's super dope because that's how it was in my house too for a long time. I had a PlayStation 2 until I got a 360. And then for the longest time I had that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But yeah, that's so amazing. You got exposed to that too, very very early on with stuff like Duck Hunt and the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what really led you to like really utilizing like turning to like not just necessarily gaming because you are just a well-rounded content creator. What really turned you to that pathway of being a content creator and putting you in the position you are right now?
Oh, well, thank you for saying
Hmm.
well-rounded.
Yeah.
Um, so my initial experience with content creation started in the early days of YouTube. So I had a channel where I would sing covers and I would just sit down and just talk to the camera.
Hmm.
And it was still in an age where nobody understood what YouTube was or what it could do or anything. It was just like this platform that existed and you put up videos and I would sing covers. And I remember at the time there were like the people that I was following like Todrick Hall, Taryn Manning. There was this other girl that at this moment I don't remember her name. I don't know if she still has a channel, but you could like message. This is back in the days of YouTube where you could message creators like on the platform. And I remember her being so encouraging and things like that when I was doing my covers, and I was like a fan of hers, so that was really cool. But then, it was still not this thing that was understood. So even my husband, we were like dating at the time, and he's like, "Who are you talking to?" Like when you put up these videos, like, who are you talking to? Who are you engaging with, or what have you? And I didn't even have an answer. I was just like, I just like doing it, so I do it. And then like I just fizzled out of it and stopped, but I was doing acting at the time and I was, submitting myself for auditions and roles and things like that. And still being a gamer, still playing games. And I would play games with my husband or sometimes by myself because we were playing I'll play Zelda by myself, but like Call of Duty, me and him would play a lot together. And I was never good at it, but he would have fun because I was always he used to call me the cheerleader for like Call of Duty and whatnot because I was just so encouraging. And I'd be like, you got this, we can do this, whether it was him playing or me playing. So I remember he was looking up the trailer for PT because he was like, oh, what is this PT? The playable trailer from Konami. And when he was looking for it, that's when he came across like Dashi and PewDiePie and whatnot. And he was like, oh, look at this. You can game on YouTube. And when we had the conversation about creating the channel, it was like a multi-tiered reason. Like one thing was, hey, this is a great way for you to put your personality out there since you want to do acting. Another conversation point was the fact that we knew that it would make people laugh or at least smile because I was never good, but it was like a difference because a lot of people that play Call of Duty, even now, they can get a little intense.
Yeah.
A little, there could be some toxicity sometimes, or they get really angry or pissed. And me, I was just this bubbly, happy thing. I would just have fun. And that was like the important part of it, just to have fun. So there was that. And then we knew that I and him, like we both have a lot of ideas of different creative avenues and things that we want to do. At the time we were like, oh, this could be an opportunity to build a foundation for us to do those greater, grander things that we really want to do. And so all of those things came together, and then we created the channel. He did the artwork, and so I think actually all the graphics that you see on my channel are on the channel he made, except for I think one that's out there that somebody else had like made for us. But that's how it started. And it started off with just gaming. And then after we were doing gaming, then MK11 came out. And when I was playing it, people would really laugh at my reactions to the finishers. And then they were like, hey, there's a compilation out there react to the compilation. And so I did that, and then I was suggested try not to laughs and whatnot, and then that's when reactions were born.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years ago, me, like my friends, whenever we would play a game, before we would play, we would be pre-gaming, just like talking, just having a conversation. So we'd be talking about the latest movies, or, hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see that? And then just having a conversation. I'm like, oh, this should be a podcast. So Party Chat Podcast was created. Now I would say like the reasons as to like the main goal of the channel. Yeah. Cause I do still want to do acting, but that's not at the forefront. That's kind of in the back part now. Unless some, directors hear this, then yes, hit me up. But, outside of that, right now it's more about building and like normalizing Black faces in gaming, media, and tech. That's like the goal, especially with the podcast. So on the podcast, we'll have other Black gamers on, other Black streamers on, other like Black authors on. We'll have Black manga artists on, or manga artists on, however you say it, depending on where you're from. But we'll have like a bunch of different people on. It's become like this opportunity to really spotlight and highlight other Black creators alongside some of those other things that me and my husband started with.
Oh, wow. You have a very extensive, but also like consistent history of like getting to the point you are at now. But also kudos to you for opening up that space as far as the podcast too, of providing that like another platform for people to get exposed to more black and brown faces in gaming and in tech in general, which is like you said, very much needed. It seems like too, like you were able to like, you've been navigating the platform of YouTube and just other platforms that utilize videos and stuff. It was right there and I lost it.
It's
okay.
It's coming back.
It's coming back right now. Okay. Yeah, you've utilized a lot of social media platforms in general. What have you noticed about the like evolution over time of the platforms and how it kind of required you to adapt a little bit? Like, what are some things that you had to adapt with while the platform was learning itself basically and building up itself to the point that it is right now?
I think the biggest thing, there are a few lessons. One is things will evolve constantly. It is constantly evolving, no matter what platform you are. Because I've streaming on Twitch, streaming on YouTube, streaming on TikTok, streaming on Twitter, or using any of these platforms. They are all constantly evolving, and you just have to have a degree of patience with that. And it can be difficult because there are things that, especially when me and my husband started the channel, there were no, hey, this is what you need to do to start a channel on YouTube, like, well-known people out there. And then even when they started to pop up, because we would do our research, right? But we definitely learned along the way. Like it was a lot of researching, seeing what's out there, seeing what other people are doing. How are they navigating this? How are they navigating that? It was definitely like a like stumble till you walk type of approach. And because we had patience with it, and we weren't expecting anything to be overnight. And in fact, we weren't expecting anything to really pop for like 5 years. We had the mindset in our mind that, hey, it's going to take at least 5 years until we are at a solid space or solid place on YouTube. And I think that that's something that a lot of people who start now do not have is patience. There are some that navigate and come in, they're like, yeah, this is going to be a long haul type of thing. But then I do see that there are a lot of people that come in, maybe they come in hot, maybe they come in cold, but they realize that it is kind of ever evolving, and that there are things, there are ups and downs in this business that are normal, but when you start off, you don't realize they're normal because you don't know. It's not something that you come in with that knowledge. And being kind of hit with those waves, you'll see some people like quit and not come back. And there are a lot of great creators that I've seen like pop up into the space, and then they, you know, when it got really to a difficult place, they kind of pulled back. But yeah, learning that it, like you said, one of the things you said is consistency is really important. Really important. It's how your audience knows to come back to your content. It's how you can establish yourself. It's how you can establish yourself in front of brands. It's how you can navigate your career, your path on whatever platform you're on. And then, like I said, it is something that is kind of your one of the things I've told people, because I did workshops earlier in the year where I was like, you know, essentially sharing my knowledge from the past 8 years to, you know, content creators that were interested in learning. But yeah, like it's, your channel is essentially like your resume or your business card. And if you have, like, if you go to a job and you haven't worked for like 5 years, you have to explain that, you know, in order, it's like convincing them why they should hire you since you haven't been doing anything for 5 years. And I think your channel is kind of like that, where if you have those gaps, it may be harder to convince an audience to stay, you know?
Yeah. Oh, gems. Yeah, that's a way I've never looked at, like, how to manage the flow of your content. Is like that. It's like establishing that history or that experience that in order for people to put their trust into you about your content, to make sure it's actually like worth their time. Because you know, people don't like having their time wasted on bullshit, you know. For example, I watched Fast X today and it was terrible. Sorry. I'm sorry, it was bad. It was just drawn out, but
I think the series has been drawn out. I think it's definitely been the rhythm of the the Fast saga.
Yeah. But anyway, have you seen it before we change back? I
haven't seen the last one.
Okay.
I haven't seen X, but I saw the one before it where John Cena was the bad guy.
Wasn't it weird? He was just like doing shit in Timbs and like some Wranglers the whole time, like Vin Diesel. Like he was just running on roofs, jumping through, like he was getting thrown through brick.
The man caught a car while he was on a moving car. I feel like it's kind of like it's their way of kind of transcending into like anime type of things.
Yeah.
But not actually setting a course or an expectation for people. Because, you know, a lot of arguments, this is an argument as old as time when it comes to the Fast and Furious saga, is the fact that it started off very grounded. And then around Fast 5 is when they really just were like, hey, let's have them be bank robbers and drive a safe through I think it was Brazil, right? Through the streets of Brazil. And it just, each year, it's like, how can we be better? I think what Fast 6, it was a plane, right? I think.
Yeah, it was a plane.
One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the start of two people teaming up, like them, his former enemy teaming up with him. That was the start of that too. Because Fast 6, it was The Rock. And then Fast 7, it was The Rock still, but then it was also somebody else. And then Fast 8, he had Jason Statham and The Rock. And then Fast 9, who the fuck did he have? I don't know. My brain hurts.
Right. I'm trying to remember who helped. Because then all of a sudden the government is kind of involved, but also kind of not involved with, them as well.
Fast 9 was his brother who was the enemy, but then he flipped sides because they turned on him. So then he became the friend. So they kind of like sped it up real quick. Yeah.
And then I'm guessing in this one, it looks like John Cena is helping them against Jason Momoa, unless he's also another enemy. I don't really know. You don't have to tell me yet, but
no, I don't. But
I am.
I'm not going to. I mean, I don't, but like I'm not going to, because it's just an experience. Because Jason Momoa does a pretty good job as like just a a weirdo supervillain. Like, it's
He
great.
seems like he was having fun on set.
Yeah.
Like when you see some of the clips from the trailer, I'm like, I mean, I'm not expecting this movie to be Oscar worthy in any capacity, y'all. But I was expecting, at least from like it looks like he's having fun. And then Jason Statham, you can never do wrong with Jason Statham.
Yeah. It's always like everybody's having fun, and then Vin Diesel's taking it serious as shit. He's like, this is the year I'm gonna get my Oscar.
Oh,
this is the year. This is the year I get my shit, y'all.
It's because he's doing it for the family.
The family, yeah.
And that is why it is so important to him, because he's doing it for the family. You know what it is? I think because he plays Dungeons and Dragons. He's a big, huge Dungeons and Dragon player. And I wonder if that's how he's approaching the Fast series, like in this realm of imagination and seriousness that he takes with it, that's in a different realm than everybody. It does seem like he's in his own movie and the others are in another movie.
Yeah, because there are moments where it's like there are moments where they're showing like spin-off movies and we're like, we want this, but then they never show anything like that through the rest of the movie. But they give you like bites. They give you like samples of what a better, funner movie would be like if we took some of the characters from this universe and put them in something else. But he's taking it too serious. He one of those. He the person that show up to the basketball court in like the whole basketball gear, like matching shorts and shirt, headband, compression shorts, you know, the whole shebang.
The sweatband too. Yeah. Goggles.
Yeah. Yep, goggles. Towel, gym bag. Yeah, that's who he is. So back to gaming. I noticed you on your channel, you play a lot of, I noticed like you do a lot of reaction content, but like you have like, I guess you have like the will to keep torturing yourself with scary games. What where did that come from? As somebody who's terrified of it, like I love horror movies, but I'm terrified of horror video games. Where did you work up the courage to consistently do that?
So I don't think that I necessarily ever did work up the courage to do it. Starting off, my husband was the one that was like, hey, you should try this game. You should try this game. He would be the pulse on, hey, this game would be cool to try. That game would be cool to try. And so, you know, playing it and trying it out at the time wasn't that bad starting off. I mean, I would get scared, and like if you watch some of the early like FNAF videos, like it's blood curdling screams, because like I legitimately get scared. There was a game that I played, it's called Ride with Strangers, and this game to this day is the scariest game I've ever played, because as I'm playing it, and I don't know if you've ever played it, but you're in this car, the stranger gives you a ride, and you like in this game, it's like eerie, it's a dark night, he's in the car talking to you, and you have to like look over at him, right? But you can't stare at him. You also have to look at the street signs so that way he speeds up faster, because if you're looking at the speed limit, it sets off this thing where the car drives faster, and the goal is to get to your destination. But you have to like look at him, but you can't stare at him. You got to respond to him. You got to look at the signs, and you got to try to like survive this situation. And he like this jump scare happens. And when I tell you, I screamed so, like it's the biggest scream I've ever done. And after playing that game, I was in the fetal position on the ground. Like after recording it, just laying on the ground. Like after I turned off all the stuff, like my technology and everything, I was on the ground in a fetal position, and my husband comes in, he's like, you okay? Because I was just so terrified, and I still am. It's a mixture of peer pressure, and then my occasional forgetfulness of how terrified I actually am, because there'll be times where like my husband will be like, oh, you should play this, or you should play this, or my audience will be like, hey, you should play this, you should play that, or my friends, hey, you should play this, you should play that. And then there'll be moments where I get this like spark of bravery out of nowhere. I can't explain it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could do it, and then I start the game, or I purchase the game, and then I immediately regret my decision. So I can't say that I've ever really worked up the courage or the gall to be like, hey, I'm going to keep playing these games. It's more so, and right now I owe my audience Outlast on a stream because my friends asked me to play Outlast Trials, and I did a few times, and that game terrified me, and now they want to see Outlast, and I owe them that, and I haven't played it yet.
Damn. Wow, you are a trooper. If anything that left me in a fetal position, just know that's the last time I'll ever talk about that topic ever again.
I got you.
I'll be recording Skylander content for the rest of my life after that. Oh my god. Just Skylander. I'm the only guy buying Skylanders in the world. Yeah, that's
Is
me.
that the one that with those dinosaurs or dragons or whatever?
Yep, you gotta buy the figurines and put them on the little pad. Like, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Trying to find the rare Skylander. So what are some games that like really are driving you right now? Like, what are some games you're really interested in right now?
Well, I have a lot. I think that's part of my problem.
Okay.
There's a lot more that I want to play than I have time to play at this moment. And it's that's also an ever evolving situation. Whatever my schedule's gonna be, can change. We have a daughter. We have when I'm doing this stuff, my husband's also doing stuff. So he also works from home as well and works on the channel or on other creative projects. So trying to navigate that time between ourselves and between what we're trying to do is always changing. So there are a lot of games that I want to play that are on my list to play. And even revisiting, because right now I want to revisit my Snitch Uno days, because just like the torture that it has on my friends and the chaos that ensues is just absolute hilarity. And I actually want to revisit that. I want to revisit Mario Party because that's another chaotic, fun game. I want to play Overcooked with my friends. I'm really trying to get them to play it, but they keep saying how they love our friendship and they don't want it to be ruined. So I'm really trying to push them and pressure them into that. But like, I also like to play, I'm a true variety gamer because Fortnite dropped a new season. I want to play that. There's this game called A Chef Story. I love cooking games, so I want to play that. And it's apparently a game where you have like a goal, which is to get a Michelin star. So I like the cozy games too. I like Coffee Talk. Finished chapter 1. I want to play chapter 2. I feel like each game gives you a different experience. I got to finish Zelda. I got to finish Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It's like the audience, even though it is your audience, I just feel like different shades of your audience come out for the different games that you're playing. And for each of those it's always fun, whether we are laughing at the chaos of the party games or we are trying to figure out how to do this shrine because it's, looking a little tough, or we are fighting, things on an alien planet when it comes to Star Wars. It's just, or even the cozy games. I even like what happens when you play the cozy games. Because when I play the cozy games with my audience, it's like chilled. We're having conversation. It's kind of like chilling around, drinking a glass of wine, and just, maybe some jazz or lo-fi music is playing, and you're sitting in a comfy seat and your friends are around you and you're just chilling, and it's a vibe. So I love everything.
That's dope. That it's just
except for scary games.
Oh yeah. That's like a contractual obligation. Scary games. But everything else is, that's really dope. So you're playing the new Zelda? Like, you dabbled in that a bit?
Yes.
Okay. How do you like it?
So there's a lot to love about the game, right?
Okay.
I feel like the ability, like my favorite thing about the game is how it's essentially like an abstract painting. And I said this on the podcast, the fact that like you could play the game, I could play the game, my husband could play the game, my brother can play the game, Ego Black, shout out to you. But like everybody, like, or Tasha, Barefoot Tasha, she loves Zelda. She's always playing Zelda. But each of us could play the game and even go to the same places and have completely different experiences. And I feel like that alone is an amazing thing about the game. We could all go to the same shrine, and each of us have a different, unique way that we approach the shrine and beat the shrine. And I love that there's so much ingenuity and freedom and creativity that you can have as the player in the game. And it like that thing alone, like I said, that's my favorite thing. The fact that it's so different for everyone. Everyone can have their own experience. And it's kind of like those games where, like, if you think of Life is Strange, where your path might be different because of the choices you made, or Detroit Become Human. I love things like that, where each person can have their own solid experience and do things a different way. There are a lot of things, a lot of issues, like a list of issues or qualms that I have with Tears of the Kingdom, but it is still a really great game.
That's what's up. That sounds a lot like of course the first one, the Breath of the Wild, but it also sounds like it reminds me of like Hitman, because like I feel like Hitman has that same quality of like everybody comes into the same mission, and you can follow the guided ones, but you honestly you can do it any way you want. And so it is like two people's experiences are different, and I really love to hear that. And it makes me even want to kind of spend the $70 for it. You know, I'm really considering it. I don't know if I am, but I'm really considering it just a little bit.
It really is a great game and a great experience. I do honestly feel like 70 is steep for the game, but it is still a great experience.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense. It's like, where else are you going to be able to play Zelda on a platform? Nowhere. Literally nowhere.
No, so they got the bag on that for sure.
Yeah, you got to pay the premium. So that's all. I mean, okay, I guess that's fine.
They got us in a chokehold.
Yeah, they do. So any games you're looking forward to that are coming out soon?
I'm looking forward to Starfield, and I'm looking forward to Spider-Man. Of course. Spider-Man 2, I'm really, really excited about, especially still kind of on the high of Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
So like, it's always a fave. But I'm really, really, really interested in Starfield, because I feel like it also has that, opportunity for each player to have a different experience, especially with the worlds being procedurally generated. And then, the path that you can take depending on one of the cool things that they were talking, because there's a lot of things. For me, the game meets, it's Mass Effect meets No Man's Sky, right?
Oh, that's cool.
And one of the things that they said in the Starfield Direct was the fact that, like, the things that you choose early on can affect your gameplay later on that you would never realize. Like, one of the guys was saying how he chose a specific religion, and then when it got to a place where he was in this deep space area, and there were these people around, and they ended up being the same religion, so they were not hostile to him. And apparently these people are essentially more hostile. So it was cool that he would go in that space, and because he was the same religion, he was fine. But somebody else who probably chose something different would go there and wouldn't have the same experience at all. They'd probably get attacked or, or murdered. And it's the fact that you can really do anything that you want to, or play it you can like make your own story essentially with fingers crossed that everything really launches well, because it's giving, like, No Man's Sky had a lot of promises and a lot of goals that they were trying to reach that they are just now reaching in 2023. And that game came out a long time ago. And I just feel like it was ahead of its time. And it was given the opportunity to still keep cooking and still keep working and bettering and evolving to where it needed to be. The fear I do have is that Microsoft, I don't know if they're going to be as patient. And so if, Starfield does not have a good launch or good, at least good few months until it gets to a really great place, I fear that Microsoft might just kind of give up on it, so to speak, because they are kind of seeming to throw in the towel when it comes to the race against, PlayStation and Nintendo already. So we'll see.
I'm excuse me. I feel like Microsoft is really betting a lot on Starfield, and if Starfield like shits the bed, they're gonna be like, we'll
It's too
fix it
much
over
pressure.
time. Yeah, it is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of, because this is a new IP too. Like this isn't like a sequel or anything like that, or a spinoff. It's a brand new IP, and that has a lot of weight to it, you know. And it's and also, like, every Bethesda game got that Bethesda jank on it, as everyone says. It got that good old jank on it. So we gotta know what we're coming into when it comes to that. If anybody needs to know what the jank is, just play Fallout 4. Just play Fallout 4. You'll understand.
Or Fallout 76. 76 was a mess.
Oh, it was.
When it first launched, it was a mess.
Yeah.
And, you know, over time, it started to get better. And now there are people that still like 76 and play 76 and have fun.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a mess when it launched.
Yeah. I wonder.
See if Microsoft holds on to it.
Yeah, I feel like the group of people who like Fallout 76 are the same group of people who really like Elder Scrolls Online, but like in a weird, like, niche, like, divide. But it's like the same type of audience, which is pretty cool, like diehards. And the interesting thing too is that it's coming at a time where Microsoft really needs a win, need a dub, because PlayStation 5, like, they came out with some hitters immediately, and which is kind of like scary too, because it's like, what else is coming after that, you know? But right now they came out with some hitters, and Microsoft is showing their hand. I mean, the direct themselves that direct they had was really dope, but it's just like, how long is that gonna last? So yeah,
because they're notorious for showing you a lot of things, a lot of shiny things, and then when it comes to the follow through, people are like, okay, where's the game? Where's the game? Where's the game? Where's the game? And I do feel like the thing Microsoft needs to kind of recenter is like a reason for someone to purchase the console. And I like, yes, you can't argue the power of Game Pass, for the consumer. It's amazing for the consumer. I don't know if it's necessarily a good business model, because you're definitely losing out. There's a lot more money going out than coming in when you have something like Game Pass. And that's not me saying for them to take it away, but what they need to do to kind of counteract that is really try to give people reasons to purchase the console itself. And that'll put more money into, and that's what PlayStation keeps as a focus. They constantly are working, and Nintendo as well. Nintendo and PlayStation constantly are like, hey, we are going to give you another reason to buy our console and to purchase our console and to play on our servers and to pay for our monthly internet. Microsoft, with that interview with Phil Spencer, he was saying how it's kind of like Microsoft can't really compete, and it doesn't seem like they're really going to try to. And I think that they need to refocus on exclusives, working and focusing on exclusives and giving people a reason to purchase that. Like, if Game Pass was not on the PC, I would buy an Xbox. I mean, I have one. Shout out to Xbox. But if I didn't have an Xbox, I would go one, because I really want to play Starfield. I really, really want to play Starfield.
Yeah. I got a Series S because I just wanted, because I had the One X and I was just like, I need to get myself a little more ahead into, like, I need to be current at least. Like, I'm not, like, I got a PC, so I really don't need the Series X, but I still need that console experience. And the Series S has been definite upgrade, but like you said, like, it's more of the experience or being a part, weirdly, like being a part of the ecosystem of Microsoft rather than like the customer or like it's more like, they just want you to buy into the ecosystem and just be a part of it and get that first taste at like a lower entry fee in comparison to all the others. Because like, if you try to really pitch a PS5 to somebody, like, oh, this console costs $500, these games cost $70, the controllers are $70, if you want a VR headset, it's $450, or you can buy this $300 console that you don't have to buy the physical disc, and you can just pay another $15 for over 100 games. Like, that's an interesting model to have, but like in practice, it's like people can't really trust it because Xbox ain't had no fucking games since the 360. So It's
Right.
kind
So
of
that this is a very important year for them, like you said, because it's all dependent on that follow through.
yeah.
Fable, you gave us a date. When that game comes out, like if it better come out either on the date or near the date.
Oh,
If it's
absolutely.
delayed another year, that's going to be a problem. And it's not to say, like, yes, you want games to come out when they're good and ready. We don't want to put this pressure on, hey, put stuff out, put stuff out, put stuff out. On the other side of this, Xbox is in this crucial position of dangling very, very shiny things this year. This direct and this showcase was very, very shiny. And there has to be some follow through in order to keep a vibrant audience to be present in their community.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like there need to be, I know there's going to be like mid-grade upgrades of the consoles, but like they need to really sell like that idea too of like, what's this mid-grade, like this mid cycle upgrade gonna look like, and why would people want to even buy that if these consoles are kind of really good? Like for anybody that just really doesn't care about graphics, like the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are amazing, and they're great, and they run games really fast, and all the other aspects that were necessary from the PS4 Xbox One era, more the Xbox One. If anything, the Xbox One was running really hard, even though the PS4 did sound like a lawnmower engine when you turned it on sometimes. But it's just interesting to like that idea and that aspect of it, like business wise, but also like how are Microsoft going to get even more affordable? Like they keep like having rumors about this streaming box, about doing the xCloud, and I wonder if that's going to be the next thing they do, or if they're just strictly going to focus on like beefing up the next tier of gaming and try to like make sure they have those tiers like
I think before they start thinking about how to improve the console and the quality of the console, they should really focus on exclusives. Because when you think about like a lot of these games like Redfall, they're like, 30 FPS. So you can tell that the focal point is not their console. But one of the things that I've noticed are like the graphics of their console. I mean, but one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of times when you see a corporation, you can see where there's conflicting ideologies on what is important. Yeah. And you definitely see that with Microsoft, because you see like Phil Spencer will come out and say this, like, hey, we do this for the gamers. And then there's an announcement from Xbox that kind of is different than what Phil Spencer said. Yeah. And so you see that a lot. And that shows me that there's a difference between Microsoft and what they believe should happen or what they think is important. And then a difference between what Xbox might think is important or executives on Xbox. So when it comes to like these games, a lot of the games that they're out, they're not like, hey, let's try to do 1080p 60 frames or try to do 4K or any of that, which I don't know. Can the Xbox even do 4K? I don't know if it can. But like it doesn't really seem like their goal is to push the boundaries, whereas PlayStation, it's like, hey, like God of War, let's push the boundaries of the capabilities of this console. Yeah. That does not seem to be in the limelight for Xbox, but I think it might be important to some people at Xbox or Microsoft. But it's kind of like a give or take. So I do anticipate that they're, gonna be something of like a mid-grade, because I feel like they're gonna do it because they feel like they have to. Yeah. And not because they're passionate about, hey, let's improve this and let's make this better. Let's beef up the quality. Let's beef up the graphics. Let's beef up the capabilities. Let's beef up the performance. I don't think they're really gonna do that and like with gusto or like passion. I think it's kind of like, hey, yeah, to get this grade, we got to turn this in. So let's just turn in something really quick and then call it a day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's less of and you can tell like in a weird way, Sony has much more of a hunger to like show their fans what they're capable of in order to keep them around, rather than Microsoft being like, Xbox is just one piece of the pie for us. We already basically have monopolized like the PC OS industry, so we're good on that front, and we got all these other things going on. So like adding Xbox as well has been like definitely beneficial, but not necessarily like their main concern. in a certain way. And you, like you said, you can tell by how certain games are coming out, not necessarily pushing the system or really pushing the quality. Because I mean, shit, PS4 fucking Final Fantasy VII remake was amazing, and I was like, this is like, and I looked at that game, and I imagine when I seen that game, I was literally like, this is what current gen can do, you know. Like, it always felt like some games kind of got it, some games didn't, but that game specifically really got it and made it like look beautiful and ran amazing and all that stuff. And I was like, damn, like, this is what we can do. And it's a PlayStation, and it was a PS4 exclusive, you know. So it's like they've always had that history of pushing the boundaries and really, like you said, really challenging what is considered like top tier or like high quality or a AAA game, basically. So yeah, they got some catching up to do, you know. And then meanwhile, Nintendo's just like, we're gonna give you the greatest experience ever, but it's gonna look like you smear some Vaseline in your eyes. So fucking deal with it. Oh man, wow, that was great. Thank you for talking gaming news with me. I usually don't get people to talk to me about this.
No problem.
We're getting close to the end of the episode, and this is a time where the guest gets a chance to give some words of affirmation and some positive energy off to the audience. So I'm going to take a step back and let you give off any words of affirmation or any like positive mantras or anything that you like to incorporate in your day to help you stay motivated and stay with positive energy.
Okay, so I have a couple things. One is, and I saw this from, I think it's AJ Zone on Instagram. And one of the things that she had said in her videos was like, to remember that you are made with purpose for a purpose. And that was something that I held on to, especially earlier on in the year when I was having some down moments about, you know, my path, my impact, what am I doing? You know, you have those crises every now and again that happen as a content creator. But that was definitely a helpful phrase. You are made with purpose for a purpose. So always kind of hold on to that when you feel kind of like lost, or you kind of feel like you don't really know if what you're doing is panning out. If you're having the what am I doing questions, or the is this even working questions, keep that in mind. And the other thing that I won't say is like a mantra or an affirmation, it's a natural way that I approach situations. You know, as we talked earlier, that being a content creator, there are ups, there are downs in this. It's going to happen to everybody, no matter how big you are, no matter how small you are. It's a part of the journey. You have times where you're like killing it. There's other times where you're working hard and not a lot is happening, or it doesn't seem like a lot is happening. But always remember, like, what for me, my passions and my goals are grander than my fears and my inhibitions. And that's something that I definitely hold on to when it comes to moments where, you know, things aren't looking great, or I'm scared of taking this path, or scared of doing that path, or even when things happen and you kind of feel a little beat down, or you feel like, you know, this isn't really going to work. It might not work. And I'm always brought back to like my passions and my goals and what I'm working towards. And that's what keeps me going. So I will say, keep your head up. When things get tough, don't let it beat you down. Yes, feel your emotions, process it, get back up, and keep it moving. Because doing this, or doing anything really, it's not going to be like easy peasy lemon squeezy in life. You have to work for the things that you really want. And sometimes that work will be hard. And sometimes life will push back. But when that happens, feel your feelings. Don't ignore them. Feel your feelings. Acknowledge them. Process. Get back up. And keep it moving.
Oh, that was amazing words. I like to mute my mic because I like to say like and like I'm in church or something, so I don't want to interrupt your whole thing the whole time. But thank you so much. And so I got to be honest, I lied about asking you the hardest question earlier.
Oh no, is it coming now?
Yeah, it's coming now.
Okay.
All right, last question. What are the 5 games you think everyone should know?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 5 games everyone should know? Oh goodness.
Should know or should play, or what are the 5 games that matter the most to you that everyone should play?
These are loaded questions.
Yeah.
Let me see. This is one I wish I could have prepared for. I'm like, let me it's always hard for me to be like, oh, my favorite game is this or that. It's ever flowing. I'm a very ever flowing person. Okay. I would say everybody should keep Starfield on their radar.
Mm-hmm.
The capabilities of what that could do if it comes off great or grand, and could potentially, I feel like Starfield has the potential to change gaming as a whole. I feel like it's a game-changing game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. I'm going to throw in an oldie bitty goodie. Oh, okay. A great one, especially if you're playing with people, right? Would be Super Mario 3D World. That game is, I don't know if I've watched anyone play that game where it was not just absolute hilarity. Like I think that game is hard to be, I mean, it's easy to be mad at, right? Because the game is it's stacked against you.
Yeah.
But when you're playing with people, it's just to another level of, I feel like it's a great icebreaker game. It's a great game to really help people shed away their thoughts or their mindsets or any, things that they may have around playing with other people and those inhibitions and their anxieties and whatnot. And it just really brings you to the root of who you are. And it's a lot of fun. So that's another one. So play that with friends, or strangers, make some new friends. 5, let me see. Oh man, this is tough. I want to say like Minecraft as well, because I had a moment in time where I was playing it on the channel, and there's something about Minecraft, and I think part of it is the cozy music. It's like you are building, you're creating, you're navigating in this world. And I mean, night times are just frightening, right? So you're just trying to, that's a whole other thing. But there's like a vibe that Minecraft has that when you're playing it, you are just set into an easy thought process. And it just feels like, when you feel like you're getting comfortable and then you just get more comfortable, like you're laying in your bed and you just feel yourself getting even more comfortable and more comfortable. Minecraft has that power for me. Where it does that for me, except at night.
Yeah.
So it's like, get inside, go to sleep, because nighttime is here.
Yeah.
So that's 3. I'm gonna also say Grounded. Grounded is kind of like Minecraft, although way more terrifying, because whether it's day or night, there's enemies everywhere. And
that's the one with the shrunken kids, huh?
Right.
Okay.
And they're in the backyard. I've been playing in a series for a year now, on a weekly basis with Ego Black, Barefoot Tasha, and Leash Capiche. And we've been playing it for a year, and it's like our go-to. It's kind of like having a poker night, we get together each week and we have fun. We talk about randomness. Some of those streams are definitely not brand safe for sure, but they are so much fun, and it's a great moment for me to get that time with my friends, and my brother, and our audience, getting them together in it as well. And I'm biased. That's like definitely a go-to for sure. What is the last one? I'm going to switch gears and go to a mobile device game for the last one. I play mobile games at night when I'm in my bed trying to wind down while I'm watching Inuyasha. So I put on my Inuyasha, take my melatonin, and start playing a game. And I'm going to make this a 2-in-1 because they're mobile. Okay, so it's like two games in one. That's the cheat I'm making for myself in this situation.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
that. You need a nice wind down game. So Merge Mansion, I play that on my phone.
Okay.
And I feel like it's a great game where your brain doesn't have to be on 100. Hell, your brain doesn't even have to be on like 30. And you can just play this game because I feel like it's just like been a part of my process for years, just to, you're on your phone. This is my way where I still have that I'm on my phone, but I'm not scrolling through TikToks and Instagram all night. Okay. Although sometimes that still does happen. Yeah. And the other part of this 2-parter is Wordscapes. I feel like Wordscapes on my phone makes me, I feel like I'm helping myself be smarter by playing this game. Okay. And thinking about the words and,
I know. I was like, oh, okay. I was thinking, and I know exactly what game you're talking about. That's the one you got to spell the words out. And yeah. Oh yeah. I love that game.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And then, it's winding down. It's cooling down. So I've given you some chaotic games, some, amazing expectation games. And then I gave you like a wind down. This is kind of like a dish. You got different things on your plate to help achieve different goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Give them the wind down while you give them the bill.
Right.
That's how you do it. Yes. Christene, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can the people find you on the socials, and what can they expect when they tune into your content?
Yeah, so first off, I do want to say thank you so much for inviting me. I'm sorry we did go on a tangent about I know you probably had other questions, and we definitely I was definitely engaged in the Xbox conversation.
No, it's fine. I actually like that because I always like to go on tangents and shit just because I got ADHD, so it's like that's just how my brain works. And 2, it's just cool. It's just gaming. I just love talking about gaming. So any conversations we can have is great. And I love gaming and Black people. So having those together at the same time is always amazing.
That works. That works well.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys can find me at AyChristene. That's AyChristene. Ristene. My mom made me different. So you can find me on YouTube, AyChristene. I have the React channel, AyChristene Games for the streams, and then Party Chat Podcast for the podcast that I do on a weekly basis with a bunch of other cool Black creators. I've Miss Chelsea Bites, Goofy Wise, Jazzy Guns. We get together each week. We have guests. We talk about a lot of cool things. So make sure you check that out. And I don't know if this is coming out. When is this coming out? Just so I can.
Calendar, quick look up calendar. Hold up, calendar. Mid-July.
Mid-July. Oh, okay. So by the time this came out, then you could have seen me at VidCon if you were at VidCon.
Okay.
VidCon's this week. So as far as the week that we're recording this. So, but if this comes up before DreamCon, you can catch me at DreamCon. I will be at DreamCon. And there's going to be fun things there that I can't say now because we're recording this before the NDA, but you guys will get to see. It's really cool. And yeah, I think I'm also on social media. I'm bad at this. I'm great at getting other people to do it, bad at myself doing it. But yes, I also have an anime reaction channel, AY, and then NIME for, anime. So you can check that out. And then social media, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Just Google it. You'll find me. I'm everywhere. I'm hard to miss with the yellow hat.
Yes. You see that? You hear that? She's hard to miss. Google her. You know what that means?
No, I didn't say that way.
That means she's big time. Big time.
No, that's my way of trying not to overload people with I'm here and I'm here and I'm over there and I'm over there and I'm over there. Just if you Google it, it makes it less stressful.
Yeah, you gotta say I'm like air. I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I'm just always around you. Oh yeah. And as always, you can find us on the socials at UBG Pod, on Twitter, on Twitch. I did have a lot of other platforms. That's too much. I just need the two. And you can always catch these episodes every Friday on your podcasting platforms. And as always, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Unapologetically Black Gaming Podcast. Be happy, drink some water, and keep gaming.